Light, here to make a vid that is intended to bring you some clarity on what I'm witnessing many people experience. I've also witnessed it yesterday in the reading I gave. I thought, hot damn, there's a lot of confusion happening and a lot of ego deaths happening all around. So again, I just intend on bringing you some clarity on sifting and sorting through anything aligned with an ego death, and really bringing you into this place of divine neutrality, guys. So let's start with the ego death. Many of you guys are familiar with this term. Guys, the ego is who you think you are. And when you have an ego death, you're basically dissolving and dismantling all of the components of who you think you are in order to access your higher self, your authentic self, okay? Now, your higher self isn't necessarily your authentic self as reflected through the human form, the human experience, but the dismantling is a real part of your spiritual evolution. Issue that I'm kind of seeing people work through, that again I want to help out with here, is that as you're having an ego death, first of all, it's very challenging. Many people often mourn. I mean, there's like grief that comes with mourning the loss of who you thought you were. I mean, it's a really big wake-up call. And what we're seeing is that the ego death doesn't just happen once. It can happen multiple times. This is a really big phase of it. The difference with this phase now than maybe last time you had an ego death is that there's more confusion than before. Here's why. There's entanglement, there's distortment and distorted and inverted timelines and inverted beings and just inverted situations that are going to make it more difficult than, say, the first time you had an ego death. The first time you had an ego death, you were just escaping the matrix for the first time. But this time, you've taken on new spiritual practices and new spiritual beliefs, and you are at the point, guys, where I'm going to encourage you to decide on your spiritual sovereignty. Your spiritual sovereignty. And what I mean by your spiritual sovereignty is the beliefs that are sovereign to you, the beliefs and values that are sovereign to you that you want to bring in your highest version of yourself. If there's anything that we've learned, it's that you create everything within and then it comes into fruition without, but it must start from within. Heaven on earth starts from within. Divine union starts from within. New earth starts from within. We are the creators of these things that will only reflect on our reality around us once we've created them solid, like a solid foundation of them within. I've given you strategies over the last year, okay, to tap into the life force and to use the breath and to drop into the heart. And all of these things, they never go away. So remember to breathe. Remember to drop into the heart. And as you move forward with this next ego death, remember that you want to get more and more and more clear on what new earth is to you. Your spiritual sovereignty will not look exactly like mine. It will not look exactly like anyone's. And this is where divine neutrality comes in, guys. Divine neutrality. You are neutral. Because, you know, we've done a lot of talk about balancing the yin and the yang, the light and the dark, the this and the that, and that's great. But it's turn up time because I want us to become aware of a space where you can be neutral. And by being neutral in a spiritual level, it's really, in my opinion, your best protection against any of the entanglement, against any of the distortion, against anything inverted, and therefore allows you to move forward in a way in which you are most aligned with your authentic self. These are deep, complex thoughts, and I'm expressing something deep. So you might have to rewatch this video, and maybe this video doesn't even apply to you right now. But I do think it applies to many of us. So it is intended to bring clarity. When we release ourselves from duality, Okay, all this talk about balance is great, but when we step back even further and zoom out even more, and we're just completely neutral, thank you for all the hearts coming in, we're not giving energy to either sides, and this is so challenging right now, right? Because we're seeing it's always been division, but this is more division than maybe ever we've witnessed before. There's so many different labels, and that creates so many different judgments. I mean, I even tried to watch like the Dave Chappelle stand-up that just came out, and I couldn't even, like, first of all, it's a whole nother story with that, but like I couldn't even, just because of all the labels that were being used. I'm thinking, God, this is just making more division. It didn't align, it didn't sit well with me, okay? So you're going to witness it, whether you're trying to watch a stand-up comedy or whether you're actually giving energy to the polarity, to the duality. But when you become neutral, you're heavily protected from that. And not only are you getting more clear on what your emotions and what you want your energy to be geared towards, but you're getting more in touch with the spiritual sovereignty, which is the beliefs and values that you are going to bring forward to become New Earth. Because remember, New Earth is not a place you are going. It is a being that you are becoming. All right. As within, so without. Once you become New Earth within, you will see it come into fruition around you. You won't have to deal with the polarity or the duality or any of the other matrix bullshit. So as you experience this ego death, if that's what you're experiencing, and as you are sifting and sorting on what you want to bring with you, in other words, or just for conversation's sake, the being that you want to become, I want you to really try it out for yourself. See how it feels to become neutral. See how it feels not to judge either side. See how it feels to go above and beyond being balanced and turn it up. Be neutral. When you're neutral, you also are allowing these Christ codes, these photons. We're going through a photon belt, guys. So these photons are hitting all of us. The pressure, it feels like pressure because these are higher frequencies. Thanks for the hearts coming in, guys. It feels like a lot of pressure. Because what it's doing is these higher frequencies are squeezing out anything that is not aligned with your truth. But if you don't know what your truth is, it's going to get so confusing. So rather than play into the confusion, rather than give your energy to anything false, any false light, anything inverted, anything distorted, just become neutral and watch the clarity come through. I challenge you to even make a list. I asked someone to do this the other day and they like pretty much made fun of me, but like, whatever, bro. Make a list of what your spiritual beliefs and values are. Because if you're having an ego death, you should be bringing forth new consciousness in your being. So whatever you thought you believed should change, at least a little. Or as you're writing it, maybe you're going to prioritize things in a way that they are non-negotiables. We all have it's free will, guys. You get to create your own reality. No one has the right to tell you, okay, what choices to be made. And we're all realizing that we're in this beautiful time where we all get to make choices that align with our authentic self. And what I don't want to happen is anything distorted to be tagging along to you, because that was what was showing up in that reading I did yesterday, guys. I don't know if you caught the live I did yesterday. I got off the live, I was like, holy crap, is there confusion out there? And I know why. I know that it's because of this entanglement and all this distortion that is trying so desperately to stay latched to some of us. So become neutral. Allow these Christ codes, this crystalline, to hit your body. By allowing it to hit your body, you're getting upgraded. And yeah, you're going to feel the pressure. But it's one of those things like the juice is worth the squeeze, guys. Because you're going to end up on the other side of it as your more authentic self. More aligned with the Christ consciousness. More aligned with New Earth. More aligned with unconditional love. For yourself and for others. And if you ask me, I mean, that sounds like a non-negotiable if you're on an ascension path. So tailor it to your likelihood or your preferences. But remember, this is a great shielding technique. It prevents any bullshit from entering your being, any bullshit from taking you off a path. We know that it's not a straight line path to healing. It does spiral, okay? So if you find yourself looping back around to old lessons, the neutral place will be the best way to stand in that. What up, soul brother? Cosmic Juice. Yes. What up, Patriot Defender? What up, Matt Owens? What up, Jenners? Guys, what up, everybody in the room? Again, I feel like these are complex ideas or whatever concepts, but this live is meant to be an activation for those who are drawn to it. You're ready for this part. You're ready to drop the ego. You're ready to live from the heart. You're ready to align with other like-hearted beings that want to create the kingdom of heaven within, as within, so without. And new earth is here for those who have eyes to see. Some of you have the eyes wide open and you're just in a confusing patch. So you know how this works. You got to face it. None of this sweeping under the rug. We don't do that out here. None of this sweeping, none of avoiding our emotions. Okay? So face it, love it unconditionally, love each other, but take care of yourself first, guys, all right? Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.